Hello, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. We've got more severe weather coming up across the central and eastern U.S. We'll start with today, which is a pretty minimal chance across mostly North Carolina. This is a 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather. That would include Raleigh, not quite Charlotte, and all the coastal areas of North Carolina, and it spills a little bit over into Virginia and South Carolina as well. Then we take our attention to Monday. And it's very interesting because we have the strongest jet stream flow is almost due west to east across the northern U.S. And then we have this very interesting feature here, this cutoff low. So both of these are going to sort of intermix the day after that. We'll talk about that in a minute on Tuesday. But really, this little shortwave feature right here, and the purple color indicates wind speed at 500 millibars. So we have what we would call a very subtle shortwave right here. And this wind is strong enough to support supercells. And when you're looking at severe thunderstorm formation, you want a supercell because that is the highest probability, especially in the spring time of the year, to get any of the three severe weather types, tornado being the worst, of course, and then hail and damaging winds. So when you see this goes to a certain margin, you at least can open the door to severe weather discussions. Then you have to have unstable air. But this is the setup. And like I said, nothing about the weekend storms, late week and weekend storms, did anything to move a cold front through the Gulf. So the moisture supply, which you can infer the instability supply from that in a way, didn't go anywhere. So this, in other words, this little shortwave has energy enough to work with. It has the shear and it has the instability. So for tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center did put out a level 2 slight risk for southern Arkansas. It does include Little Rock. It does also go over to Mississippi. It includes Jackson and points north, and that is for Monday. And unlike today, where there was virtually no tornado risk, there is a little bit of a one with tomorrow's outlook, a 2% chance in virtually the same area as the slight risk. In fact, it is the same area. And if you look at CSU's model for tomorrow, for Monday, it doesn't get too terribly excited about tornadoes, but it does put the epicenter, if it was to happen, if that were to change with future data, right around Jackson, actually, with a hail and a wind threat. So then let's turn our attention to Tuesday. Certainly the probably most active day of the week might be outshone by Wednesday. We'll see. But on Tuesday we have this ejecting feature here, this little cutoff low. It's cut off because if you see a circle like that, a few of those, and they are not in any way connected to the jet stream flow up here, that's a cutoff low. So the winds out over the high plains are increasing, and the shear values are increasing. And so this is certainly one area to be watched. And then we also have another area up here along a warm front and a developing low pressure area. So those are the two areas, and I'll show you the outlook here in a minute, but I did want to show you that the CAPE values, the instability, are creeping upwards as you would expect as we get deeper into spring. That just means we have more unstable air to work with. And there's one maximum there in northern Missouri. It's a little more questionable out here through West Texas, West Oklahoma. But again, this is the EPS model, so it averages all the outcomes together. We're still 2 days plus out from a thunderstorm developing. So again, I just wanted to show you a broad overview to see what's possible. I probably will activate chaser mode on Tuesday. In other words, I will go out and chase, which I haven't done since probably May of last year. And, that'll be the decision for me, is whether to go up into Illinois or go out to the traditional, almost reliable kind of wind setup that the high plains provides. So here is the outlook for Tuesday. They did issue, the SPC, a 3 out of 5 risk there that runs from northeastern Missouri straight up into the heart of Illinois, just north of Springfield, Illinois, but it would include places like Peoria, and over into the central part of the state. I'm not sure what cities would be in there that you might know. But anyway, that's the level 3. So level 2 covers a broad area from southwest Michigan, including Chicago, all the way down through the heart of Missouri, through the heart of Oklahoma, all the way down to the Mexico border. So I will zoom in on this, and then maybe that'll give me some more of those cities. No, I don't think it does. But Hannibal is in there, and not quite St. Louis. That's down here. They're in the level 2 area. But I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think this is Bloomington right here. And then this is Peoria, if I remember my Illinois geography correctly. Anyway, so that's for Tuesday. And certainly that attracts my attention. But with storm chasers, it's always we want the discrete supercell. We're not as excited about linear developments. This looks a little linear to me, but we'll see. But I did want to show you the CSU outlook for that time period, Tuesday, and it does put a 10% tornado bullseye right there north of St. Louis, between there and Hannibal, let's say. And same with the hail and more of a broad wind field, but the bullseye for all 3 severe weather elements is right there in almost the same place, which that alone is pretty intriguing. And again, these areas down here are not as advertised. But there's just something about, the high plains tornado or thunderstorm that somehow, more times than not, is able to pull a rabbit out of the hat and produce something good. So we'll see. I don't know which decision. It's either going northeast or southwest. We'll see. Anyway, on Wednesday, the Storm Prediction Center did move this over. This is a broad brush forecast from Louisiana all the way up to Pennsylvania. So it would include Pittsburgh, PA, Cincinnati, Frankfort, Charleston, West Virginia, Nashville, all the way down into Mississippi, Memphis, and Little Rock included in that. And so that would be for Wednesday. The entire system just shifts eastward. The probabilities on that match the Storm Prediction Center's pretty close. So there's their outlook right there, and there's the probabilities coming out of Colorado State University's learning model. And then we'll spend some time here. This sums up the next week. I have to say the supercell index is not really showing a lot of high probabilities over the next 7 days, but this does tend to change, and we did have our time change overnight last night, so all the 12Z models are not out yet. So if this reads upon that, then this will probably be updated, and I would suspect that there'll be a little bit higher probabilities for the next 7 days. And then beyond that, the rest of March is looking puny, which is good. Again, I would grain of salt a lot of that, especially since I see a lot of variance in the long range. Anything 2 week, especially this 1 3 week. I've seen it go from this to a lot in just 1 day. So anyway, I show it to you for guidance purposes. It does indicate, though, that it does appear as if there's some meager attempt to get moisture and instability back up into the high plains. So we'll see how that works out. If you live in the Ozarks, I'll have a heads-up forecast for you specifically for Tuesday, and it'll include the severe weather threat. And also we're going to have some heavy rain return to the area as well. I'll probably publish that, not quite sure when, sometime this afternoon, maybe early this evening. I'll be looking for that.